right, live. And we're live. What's going on, guys? Chris LeBron. We are here for the Knicks Q&A for the NBA draft. I know you guys probably haven't seen me in a while. It's been a minute, but I'm here. We're going to take all your questions today talking about the NBA draft. So make sure you call in to 657-383-1509 or hit up the KnicksFanTV Discord and all that. So today we're going to talk about the NBA draft. It is approaching. It is next week. Can't believe it is around the block. So it is going to be crazy. This is one of the most, I don't even know how to describe this draft. It has just been such, it's so, crazy. There's just so much going on. You don't know who's going to be number one. Is there a true blue chip prospect and all that? There's just a lot of indecisiveness with a lot of teams, a lot of players, rankings and all that. Everyone's draft board is all over the place and all that. So we're going to get into talk about it a lot. But for me, going with this class, it's not like obviously like last year. We knew who was the top pick. We knew it was Victor Wembanyama, right? We knew who was going to be the blue chipper and all that. Everybody was trying to get him. The Spurs got him, took a number one. This year, there's no clear-cut number one pick. Like, obviously, we've heard a lot. Like, Alex Sarr has been, for the most part, the guy that's been, who projected to be the number one pick. But now you hear Zachary Ricochet. And Donovan Klinger, who's someone I've petitioned for Atlanta to go take at number one. I think he, fits what they kind of need, especially to try to win now. But this draft is just, it has been unpredictable. It is going to be unpredictable. There's going to be a lot of craziness. And obviously with the NBA offseason, it's always going to be wild and all that. So trades, who's going to move up or teams moving to move down, because this is the draft where, you may, where the sweet spot is kind of in that lottery to 20s range. I don't know of a lot of teams that are really looking to move up, more of teams looking to go down and all that, so this draft is just all over the place. Everyone's big board is, all scrambled and all that. I know mine's changed a lot, everyone's. And what's crazy about this draft class and all is that there's no wrong. You're not wrong. If you have this prospect at number one, hey, that's okay. It's not like years before where there's a lot of arguments about, oh, why you have this guy? Hey, man, this draft's so unpredictable that the prospect 25 for one guy could be prospect number 3. I know I have a prospect in my top 5 that a lot of people have in their 20s, so it's just one of those things where it's so unpredictable, man. But it is, it's going to be interesting what happens draft day and all that, because I don't know. I don't know. People I talk to that cover the draft don't know what's going to happen and all. So it is just, it is really wild. But like I said, I'm Chris LeBron. I know you guys haven't seen me a lot. I do a lot of draft stuff throughout the year and all that. And, so appreciate everyone's coming in. We're going to wait for some more people to come in the chat and all that. But yeah, as we're seeing, Atlanta got the number one pick, so they're on the clock. There's and like I mentioned before, Alex Sarr has been the consensus number one, right, for the most part. And it seems like of late, this seems like there could be some, apparently he hasn't taken a meeting or a workout with them and all that. So that's very interesting, and that's not like something that's not like crazy and all that. Cause I think Paolo, that happened with Paolo, if I recall, with Orlando, but are they looking for Ricochet, who has more of the upside? He's more of a wing, he's a little bit more polished offensively than Sarr. That's the one thing I worry about Sarr is he's not polished offensively. And yeah, he's definitely shown that he can shoot a little bit, but I don't know if that could be consistent. I think his floor is a lot lower than like Donovan Klinger. Like I petitioned that Klinger should be number one, and I see, John in the chat, I can see Klinger. That's what I think. I think Klinger is number one. I trust his floor. I think his floor is still a really good player, like a really good rim protector, a double guy. Where Sarr, for me, I don't know. His floor could be out of the league. in the free, and then that's scary. That's scary. I know the defensive. He's definitely going to be in a running for like a defensive, all defensive team. Like I think his defense is that good and all that, but I do worry about some of the athleticism. Like I think it's a little bit overrated, all that, and like I don't know about the scoring. I just don't know. I don't know if it's, and I don't know. And I know this is a draft where it's so unpredictable, but do you still take a guy who doesn't have much to bring to you right now offensive? And it could hit in 4 or 5 years, but are you willing to take a guy with the number one pick like that? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Do you take Sar one and and just pray that you can get the offense to go? Especially that you got Trey Young and all the yeah, right now they got DeJounte there and all that. You still got Jalen Johnson right there, and that's the thing too. Jalen Johnson, I think that interferes with Jalen Johnson because Jalen Johnson has shown he might be a really good player. So do you get Saw? I think they kind of get in the way of each other, So I see I see a lot of you guys mentioning Klingon at number one, and I feel like I've seen some rumblings and all that with that lately. And like I said, that's something that I have for Atlanta and some previews I've done with Atlanta is like, hey man, go for Klingon. Like he's a defensive anchor. He showed when he could do in big games and all. Even when he was playing last year with Sonogo, and he was Sonogo's backup at UConn when they won the first chip. That he can be someone that can still anchor. So he's shown it. He's played big time games and all that. I think the offenses can come around. I think he could shoot a little bit. It may not happen right now, but I think down the line he could shoot a little bit. But uh, I think King is going that high. I see some people saying you don't think he's going. I think he can go as high as number one. I think the lowest he'll go is probably, I would say, I mean, Houston has three. They don't need him because they have, Sengun and all that. But I can see a team trading up for him. I think he's top three. I think he's a top three pick in this draft and all that. So he's 7'3", crazy wingspan. I mean, you look what he did against Zach Edey in the national championship. Like he did his thing and all that, and he held his own too. So Klingon is just someone that I think I would take number one over Sar. I know Sar is the most popular pick, and now Ricochet is starting to get more buzz with the number one pick. But he's another one. His offense is definitely ahead of Alex Sar, definitely way ahead of Alex Sar and all that. And Zachary had some up and downs this season and all that, but definitely, came on and can show some things. And I think that's why if you're Atlanta, I think you trust Zachary Richard's offense more than Sar. And like I said, the defense with Sar is there. I think he could be a all NBA, all defense type of player, but are you taking a guy that his ceiling could be all NBA defense, but he's a 10 to 12 point per game guy? That's the thing you have to think if you're Atlanta. I don't know. I don't know. I know Ricochet has more upside. He gets more scoring. Things he could do off the dribble, catch. There's some positives there. But for me, I like Klingon at one, man. I know I'm alone on that. Maybe not all by myself on the island. I know there's a few people I think lately have been coming along with the Klingon number one, but it's something I'm thinking about. If I'm Atlanta, I think you go there because just think about it. Off season for Atlanta, you take Klingon one. Maybe the BI stuff for Murray happens. You get a Caruso. You add that with Jalen Johnson and Trey. That makes Trey happy. So I think that's something you got to think about. And in Atlanta, you're a win now, and you don't have your pick next year for Atlanta. You don't have the pick where the draft is more open. There's a lot more blue chippers and all that. You don't have your pick next year, so Atlanta's in win now mode. So I think that's something they can kind of got to consider and all that. But yeah, like Zachary Richey's in line. I would say Klingon, Zachary Richey, Alex Sarr. Those three guys are definitely in play at number one, and there could be a surprise. I mean, not saying he will, but Stephen Castle, if it could be someone that possibly can sneak in because I like his upside a lot. I think he could play point guard and all that. And so even though I know they have Trey and all that, but that's a guy could potentially if somebody wants to trade up and all that. But The Sar is definitely interesting I don't know. I don't know about the offense with Sar. I really don't know if the offense will ever come along. And he shows flashes like when he's open and all that, it looks good and all that, but just I don't know. I don't know if he's going to do that, if he's going to be that type of player offensively and all that. So we'll see. We'll see. But Klingon, I think Klingon's that dude. I think Klingon's that dude. I take Klingon number one for Atlanta and all that. And then we see the Wizards are two and all that. You know, they the Wizards need a lot of help. Too. They a lot of help, a lot of help. Then I can see like Memphis, you're trading up and trading up to three because they need the big man and all that. And so I think if you go Klingon one, Sar two, Zachary Ricochet three, and four is the Spurs. I think they take one of the either Topic, or they take Castle. I think Castle, Klingon. I've seen some people thinking Klingon. You might as well trade back. I've seen that too. I've seen people talk about the trading back, and I could definitely see. I could definitely see Klingon. Somebody trying to get him at later, but we'll see. Atlanta is taking Sar. Like I said, he's good at the up. If you take Sar, if you buy the offense, long term, then you take Sar number one. I personally, I just don't see it. I don't see the offense, being number one worthy. So if you got any thoughts about the draft or any prospects you like and all that, anyone late in the first with the 2 first-round picks or in the second round, make sure to call in at 657-383-1509 or hit up the Knicks Fan TV Discord and let's talk about this draft and what you like with the Knicks. We're going to be talking about some of my favorite targets for the Knicks, with the late first round and the second round pick. So make sure to call in, hit up the Discord. Let's talk about this draft and who you want for the Knicks to take. You want them to trade up for a certain prospect because let me know and let's get right into it with all this draft stuff because it's draft season. Like I said, a week away, right? We're a week away. It's 2 nights now. So if some of you forgot, it is 2 nights. They split it up. So the first round, second round are separated now. So we'll have 2 nights of the draft and all that. So it is going to be a fun, week leading into the draft and all that. So let's get into some of my favorite prospects and my 5 guys that I'm really looking forward to. And I dropped 2 articles. And first one was about Tyler Kolek, the point guard from Creighton, and I dropped another one on Ryan Dunn. But let's talk about Tyler Kolek. He is a 6'1" guard from Marquette. People are going to, when they look at him, they're going to be like, nah, he's 6'1", not athletic, just nah. And you know what? I felt the same way with Tyler. I felt the same way, just the season, beginning of the season. I do a podcast with my guy Kev Lucas. Get a buck, and we talked about him. I'm like, and he was a big fan of his. I wasn't feeling him, but each game I watched him, I just was like, you know what? He's growing on me. He's growing on me. He's growing on me. And he showed out. I mean, he led the country in assists, man. It's hard to lead the country in assists, and that's what he did. He's an efficient passer, great in pick and rolls, and one thing that's, you might not look, he can, not only can he shoot when he's open, but he's great off the catch. He's great off the dribble. He is, his passes and passing velocity is good. I know people don't think about that, but just the little things in that. And I know some people may think, oh, we don't need a point guard essentially. And like I said, it's not a dire need, but to bring him in as potentially a back. And listen, I know we got Deuce and all that, but he's a different type of guard from Deuce. Deuce is going to be able to be a spot up shooter, play defense. But what Tyler does perfect is we need a playmaker. We need a playmaker. And that's what he does great. He is a tremendous playmaker, not just passing, but the playmaking is there. Like I said, pick and roll situations. It doesn't matter. Like he played in the Big East. He played in the Big East where every night they're going against UConn. They're going against Villan, all these schools, these juggernauts. Creighton had a bunch of all defenders. And he's killing it. He's killing it. So I think, and we also have to think about the concept of a Thibs play. I know some people may not like that, when you're thinking about, prospects and potentially, but I think you have to think about that. Like you have to think is Thibs like, this is the guy. Like this is the guy that you think about as a Thibs player and all that. And I know I've seen some people with Rokas, I know we took Rokas a few years back. That's not going to stop me. Here, whether he's here, that doesn't really stop me, from taking a Tyler Kolek type and all that. I've seen some people chat, we need a legit backup for Brunson. Yeah, he's the perfect backup. Think Tyus Jones, type, which do the better shot. The passing is similar to him, to Tyus Jones and all. I think if you just think Tyus Jones with a better jumper, better 3-point shooter, I think that's something that we desperately need. See a lot of people talking about Tyus Jones and all that. Goran, yeah, he has some Goran into him, maybe not but and that's the one thing, because of his lack of size, his ability to get to the rim, and even though he can be creative at times, that's the one thing he's not like with Goran, because Goran can finish and all that. I really think Kolek is a guy that, if he's in that, and I've heard that he's actually moving up. He's moving up in the draft. So he's someone that, at one point I thought maybe we could get in the second round, and now he's one that I was like, thinking, all right, he's definitely going to be there with the 2 first rounds. And now I'm like, oh, he may not even be there, so, his draft stock is moving. I know people, like, I know the age thing is another concern. I think he turns 24 by the time it's, the All-Star break. And I don't really worry that too much, especially, late first round pick, I don't really stress about, the age thing and all that. I think that's something more you worry about, at the top of the draft more than at the bottom of the draft. But he's someone, I will give you some of his weaknesses. Obviously, the lack of strength is a huge thing. He's, 6'1", buck 90 and change and all that. Didn't test well at the draft, doesn't have the measurables and all that, that you need. But he's someone, he's going to try on defense. He's going to be pesky and all that. Think like TJ McConnell, he's going to be pesky and all that. But, there is going to be situations in pick and roll that he could get picked apart and all that. But he's someone that I think we need a playmaking guard. We need someone who can run the offense when Jalen Brunson's out, because we saw at times when Brunson's not on the court, especially at the point guard position, it's tough. It's tough. So it's something that we need, and I think this is some position that we can upgrade. The backup point guard position. You put him with Deuce, I think we can definitely. He's gonna make people work. Like I said, regardless of who comes in, with Jokic, whoever else, if they bring in a veteran backup point guard, it's something that we need, a playmaking point guard who could shoot, and someone you can trust with the ball in his hand when Brunson's not playing, not on the court. So I think Tyler Kolek is someone, he fits the Thibs mold. He's definitely a Thibs dude, and I think if he's there in the 20s, I think in 24, 25, I think he's someone you got to consider. You got to consider, but he could be gone, because I like I said, this draft is so all over the place. So he's someone that you definitely consider at 24 to 5, because I think he feel perfect. I mean, the crowd's gonna love him when he comes in. Like I said, he's just gonna do little things. He's scrappy, but he could shoot. He could pass the ball. Like I said, led the country in assists, the whole country. So he's definitely someone that the Knicks should consider with one of those 2 picks. So we'll see what happens. I said there's some things you got to worry about with the measurables and all, but I see Kyle. I don't think I see Kyle Lowry. I don't know if he's that type of player, I think. But I mean, as far as being pesky, yeah, but he's not as physical as a Kyle Lowry type. But like in that, Mark, I see Markel Fultz out, like I said, Tyus Jones. Yeah, I see people saying Tyus Jones and all that. I like that. I like the Tyus Jones, the McConnell and all that, but just, he's someone not a good fit. I know like people look the size. I mean, 6'2", but you got to look at, you can't just look at that. And you just can't look at that. Like I said, the passing is elite, the shooting is elite. He kept getting better and better throughout the year. Biggie's player of the year, played in a tough conference. So he's tough, man. He's built for this. He's Peyton Pritchard. He's not the shooter like Peyton. Peyton Pritchard is more of like a, off the catch, off that type of player. He's not, and Pritchard's not not the passer that Kolek is. Kolek is at a high level. He's one of the more elite shooters. I mean, passers in this class. Pritchard, great shooter and all that, but I don't think I wouldn't say that's a great comp and all that. But Tyus Jones, Reggie Jackson. I don't know about Reggie Jackson. I don't know about Reggie Jackson. I think Reggie Jackson a little bit more dynamic scorer. A little bit more dynamic scorer. But yeah, Kolek, if he's there, I think I like him a lot there. We need someone 6'8" taller. Yeah, well, you mentioned 6'8" taller. I got the next guy I'm going to talk about is definitely fits in that mold and is definitely a name that we've been hearing about a lot. And I'll get right into him. We're going to talk about Ryan Dunn, Virginia, 6'8". He is someone that if you had told me beginning of the season that he would be someone that would be in the 20s, I would have laughed at you. Because he was someone early on that I thought top 5 worthy. Like the measurables are there, 6'8", 7-foot plus wingspan, everything you want in a wing. But he struggled mightily with his shooting. The shooting is something that I wanted to see progress. It didn't happen the way, and the shot looks all right. If you actually look at it, his shot looks solid and all that, but it's just it didn't progress the way I wanted to. There's a lot of things that, as far as the hitch, the slow-mo, it's just it didn't click, and it didn't help that he played at Virginia. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of college basketball, but Virginia's offense, I mean, they had games where they were in the 30s and like with a few minutes left in the second half. Like it was ugly basketball. Even with Reese Beekman, who's someone that could potentially be a end of the second round. They just couldn't make it work. That offense was rough. It was rough. So you definitely have to look at that and wonder, okay, did the lack of creativity, be, with in Virginia be a reason why they struggled so much? And I think that's a huge reason because I talked about it a lot, during the season when in college, like they were awful to watch. It was not good basketball and all that. But the things he does really well is his transition. One thing, and we'll get into deep, but the things he does when he's in transition, he's tough. You can't really stop him and all that. And because his defense is so good, he gets in space. He's allows him to get himself to get into space. And if with Reese Beekman, they were able to find a lot of open, easy buckets because he was just locking up people. But so what he's an absolute monster in transition. Because he's 6'8", because of the wingspan and all that. He's a freaky. I think he had a 39-inch vertical. At the combine. So that's going to be the thing he's going to be able to do to be able to get on the court. But the shooting, man, the shooting is something that it worries me. It definitely worries me whether it'll ever come. Because like I said, this guy was, top 5, top 10 projection. And it just, it just didn't come along. Even when things look good for Virginia, and I watched a lot of ACC ball because I'm a Duke fan. And in the games I did watch when either they're playing Duke or just, watching them play Carolina, it just didn't feel right. He just didn't feel comfortable at times. And then if he did, he would rush it. It was either one or the other, or and when he misses bad. He misses bad. So I just wonder if I'm too hard on because of, because the offense, but the offense was being so bad at Virginia. Like, should I put too much stock into that, or should I kind of give him a pass because it was bad? And you know, you know, if he comes to New York, he'll have more spacing, because obviously once you get to the NBA, the spacing is going to be 10 times, 10 times better than it is in college. We know how college everything's so compacted and all that zone. We know how that works. So you wonder if he's a prospect that just you know just suffered from just being on a really bad offense, and you buy the physical traits, and you buy that the shot, because the shot's not too bad. It's definitely the little things that need to get worked and all that, but he can figure it out, with proper coaching at the next level. But he's an interesting prospect, man. Like I said, 6'8", 7 foot plus wingspan, and the defense is. And I mentioned before with Alex Sarr, the defense being all everything. His defense, he can be Jaden McDaniels level, like that type of defensive prospect. He's that type of defense. He can smother you. I mean, going against Harrison Ingram, all these top level guys. Hunter Salas. Jerry McCain. He gave them the business, man. He can switch 1 through 5. You know, he he's great on ball, great off ball, great instincts, great in drop coverage. Can protect the rim. That's another interesting thing. He was, I think he led the ACC in blocks. I think he was at 2.3 blocks per game. So he could protect the rim. So you can't really beat him. Like, it was very rare that I saw people beat him off the dribble. And if they did, he made them pay by blocking their shot. Like, you saw that a lot with him. He's an intriguing prospect, and I think he'll be there in the 20s. Like I said, I've won Matisse Thybulle. That's the thing you have to. But at the 24th and 21st pick, if you get a Matisse Thybulle, that's not bad. I know we want more with the shooting and all that, but I think he's a way better shooter. He could be a better shooter at this point than Matisse Thybulle was coming out of Washington. I do think that. Matisse coming out, I wasn't crazy about it, but with Dunn, I think you're not even asking him to be 40, 38. If you can get him in the low third, 33 to 35, along with everything else, like he's slashing ability and all that, he's going to be someone that in the 20 to 24th fifth pick, it's someone. At one point, like I said, I thought he was top 5, top 10. I definitely, he'll be there in by 24, 25. I just think the shot is something that's going to take a few to work on. You got to work on them, and I trust that with the Knicks that they'll develop the shot over time. But what's gonna be his calling card is defense. Like I mentioned, like I had in the article, the strengths, defense, defense, defense. He gonna lock up. And that's what Tibbs like. That's what Tibbs likes, and if that's what's gonna get him on the court, that's something we need. Athletic wing, and like I said, there's no pressure for him to have to play, be that type of shooter right away. He can develop, work on his can show that he can lock up, and then work on the offense, as we come along. And of course, we drop into the mid-20s from him to. It's the shot, man. Like I see people saying, him dropping from, being a potential top 5 to 20. It's the shooting, man. And like I mentioned before, being at Virginia didn't do him any favors, man. Like I mentioned, if you watched any college basketball, Virginia was rough. It was a tough watch. But if you buy that you can work on the offense, then you take him in the 20, 24, 25. I think he's worth it at this point. They need the Knicks need to get some wings. We need wings. We need upside wings too. I don't think you can come out of this draft without an upside wing. So he's someone I like. I liked Dunn a lot. I liked him more in the beginning of the season. Towards the end, I mean, if you're scared about offense, I believe his last 20 games, if I remember, he only had one 10-point game. Only one 10-point game. So, like I said, you don't expect too much. The free throw shooting is another thing. It's not great. It's not great. So that, I mean, and if that's an indicator about his shooting, you worry about the free throw shooting at 53%, I think was around there. But you're not right now, you're drafting him because of the defense, because of what he can do in transition. And you're hoping that in the next few years you can get the shot to go and he could be a respecter shooter down the line. But he's someone that in the 24 pick, you consider him because of the high up, there's upside there. The defense is impactful from the minute he plays. That you're going to see that, and the transition offense, So, but you're hoping that the shot comes along in the next few years, though. I'll get me, like I said, call in. Let me know what you feel about Ryan Dunn. He's someone that I've seen a lot of Knicks fans, very intrigued about. I've seen a lot of people want him and all that. Some people aren't because of the shooting. So let me know. Call in 657-383-1509 or hit up the Discord and let's talk about it. And whoever other prospects that you guys like. So let me talk about my third prospect that I'm very intrigued about, and that is Tristan da Silva out of Colorado. He's someone that beginning of the year, he was one of my sleepers. I loved his game. I loved his shooting ability, size, how he is as a team defender, all those things, and just his IQ. His IQ is off the charts, and he backed it up with a tremendous season at Colorado. And at one point, he was probably between maybe back in second round to the, me, an undrafted two-way type of guy. But now he's someone that is clear-cut a first-round pick, and maybe he can go in high. I've heard people say that he can go as high as, 14th, 15th. So he's someone that I don't feel as confident that we even have an opportunity to get him at 24, at 25. But he's an older guy, at 23. But his 3 years at college, these last 3 years at Colorado, over 37% shooting from 3-point. So he can shoot it, can shoot off the dribble, can shoot off the catch, great off pick and rolls, 40% spot up shoot. He shot 40% as a spot up shooter, 42 off screens. Catch and shoot. I think he was like low 40% shoot. So he can shoot. It's that simple. He got a clip. He can shoot with the best of them. One of the better shooters in college basketball this season, and that's something we need. Wings that can shoot. Especially with the. And I see people liking Da Silva a lot, and I think he could be some. With Bogdanovic not having the season, and now with a lot of unpredictability, whether he'll be back and all that. I think this would be it's obviously a cheaper, replacement, and someone that can fill in the same role and a better defender than Bogdanovic is. Doesn't have the greatest measurables, and Tristan doesn't have all, with all, that he brings, but he could shoot it. That's the number one thing. He can shoot it, and like I said, he can shoot it in different variations. It's not just spot up shooting, like I mentioned, off the catch, off the dribble. Great team defender, just solid as it is. And I think with picks 25, if he's there with one of those things, you have to take him. Like I said, another guy who fits in that Tibbs mold. He's gonna work hard. That's all you heard about at Colorado is his work ethic. He's first in, last one out. He's going to bring it defensively. He can shoot. Did I mention he can shoot? He can shoot. We need shooting, wing shooting. We didn't get it. Bogdanovic was so inconsistent. Burks. If we can get another shooter like and bring him aboard, he's going to. He could hit big time shots, contested shots. Especially when Colorado, there was a lot of with KJ Simpson. With Cody Williams, there was a lot going on. Especially they struggled a little bit late. I thought they were a team. Colorado was a team that would be a final Elite Eight type team. Didn't happen. So he's I think you guys are gonna like he can shoot. He could shoot that thing. I don't see the silver drop. Yeah. I don't think he's gonna drop to 24 either. I don't think he drops to 24. If you told me this a few months back, I think he would have been a second round pick, but teams need shooting. We know how this league is. Wings that can shoot are a priority, And he's going to be this. He's going to be someone that's going to be targeted in that late lottery, the teens. And I just wonder, and I want to get your guys' thoughts. And like I said, call in 657-331-509 or hit up the Discord. The Knicks haven't been a team that usually trades up to get a guy. It seems like they either, if their guy isn't there, they're either trading back or they're just flat out just getting out of the draft. Do you think, I want to get you guys, you let me know. Do you guys think there's a chance, if there is a guy they like, that like Tristan Da Silva or Ryan Dunn or Tyler Cole, like I just mentioned, three guys that potentially can potentially, go earlier. I mean, they got draft capital. Do they potentially try to move up? Do you think that's the right move? Should the Knicks move up to try to get one of these guys? Or do you think this is not the draft to do that? Let's just save all our ammunition to either, get a big time, someone in a trade, or, maybe, worry about next draft and all that. Do you guys think that? So, let me know what you feel. So we got some calls in.
Hello. Do a lot of draft stuff throughout the year and all that, and appreciate everyone coming in. More people come in to chat and all that.
Caller, turn your background, turn your TV down, turn your TV down. 718. You
live.
I'm
doing it, baby. My name is Mike Stratton. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good, brother.
Yeah, well, I'm turning that off. I tell you this, Jalen Tyson is the wing for the Knicks. If they can move up, if they have to pick him, he can get in and out of seams. He can do it. He can shoot. He can pass, dribble, and shoot. You got Tejan Salon. He's earmarked to go earlier. He's 18. He's younger. He's along the Giannis build when he was drafted. And you have Yves Messi as center. He's a man-child. These are the guys I'm looking at. But this Ryan Dunn, please, no. I don't want to look at a tape of a guy for 30 minutes and talk how great he is defensively, and I never see him take a real shot. Now, I'm going to tell you, Tibbs is supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. He can teach defense, I hope, to an offensive player. But you cannot teach a player that never looks at the rim offense. We need that. Like you said, and I'm agreeing with you, we need wings that can shoot. You got Keyshawn George, but I'm telling you, Jalen Tyson is the pick, and he's being slept on. And Yves Messi is a man-child, and you have Khalil Ware. These are the guys we should be trying to structure the team to make them stronger to match up with Boston. You can't match up with Boston with one-dimensional players. They're going to take advantage of them out there. This is the Bronny draft, Chris. And in the Bronny draft, you can kind of sneak players that really you wouldn't have a shot at looking at before because everybody's giving the publicity to him, and they're sleeping on a lot of players in this draft. So, I mean, what do you think about that?
Jalen Tyson is someone, and I appreciate the call. Jalen Tyson is someone I like a lot. He can shoot. I think you didn't hear much about him because he played at Cal, and Cal hasn't been good at basketball in a minute. But he's someone he can handle the rock. He can shoot it, can play make. He's an all around good offensive player. I think I worry, like we talk about Tibbs type of guys. I don't know if he's a Tibbs guy. Like a lot of my thought process when I'm going over like Knicks targets and all that is who Tibbs gonna like, and I know some people don't like that and don't think, that's how you should draft. You should just draft on, players that that you think are just going to be good down the line. But I don't know if he's a Tibbs guy. I think it could be a situation where, with Tyson, that he can struggle to get on the court because of the defensive stuff. Now, offensively, like you mentioned, he's someone we need. He can shoot it, all that, but the defense is the one thing with Tyson that I think can be something that could be tricky, and then we can get to kind of like Obi Toppin stuff. Maybe not to that level, but it's something like that where offensively they can do some, but the defense is something that that with Tibbs he ain't gonna rock with. He ain't gonna rock with. If you don't play defense, you ain't getting on the court. And we see it like with McBride, and I know you mentioned done with the offense. I mean, McBride came in and he was known as a defender, right? That's why he dropped to the second round, because people were worried about, well, can he create offense for himself, right? Because I had a top 20 grade on McBride. He wanted to go into the second round, and he showed, especially in the playoffs. I mean, he had some big offensive games. So I think you could learn like I said, I mentioned with Dunn, he was in a really bad offense. There was no spacing at Virginia. And I know there was a times where even when he had it, but when you're not used to, open looks and all that, sometimes it just, you're like, whoa, I can't believe I'm open. Because it didn't happen. Go watch Virginia tape and see how bad it was. So, I think the offense can come around, you can build that, but he does stuff that Tibbs is going to like, the defense and all that. So that's why I like Dunn, where Tyson, I think the defense is where it's a little bit worrisome. And I like Tyson a lot. I have a top 20 grade on, not even top 15 grade on. I think he'll go higher, but as far as Khalil Ware is interesting, but he scares me. He scared me too. So we're gonna get, and you mentioned he's Missy, and that's the next guy we're gonna talk about. He's a very interesting prospect, from Baylor. And this pick, this target for me is predicated on the situation with Hardenstein and Mitchell, because it does feel like one of those guys are probably on the outs, whether it's Hardenstein getting the bag from another team or trading Mitch. They're going to need, to figure out that situation, whether, who's going to be the backup. And Jericho Sims is not the answer. Please. I don't know if there's any Jericho Sims fan, but I am not one of those. I am not one of those guys. I'm not a Jericho Sims fan. So you're going to need to upgrade if Hardenstein or Mitchell Robinson is no longer there. And I could see, I'm not the biggest Yves fan. So I'm with some of the people in the chat that say they're out on Yves, because he's kind of just he's a rim running big. He's massive. I think he has like a 7'3", 7'4" wingspan. He is, but he's super raw. Even defensively, yeah, he's I think he had 2 blocks a game, but he's super raw. Fouls, man, the fouls worry me. Even in big games, it's not Sims. It's definitely not Sims. I am not. Ask anybody. I'm not a Sims. When he goes in the game, I get frustrated. But there is things Sims, that Yves does better than Sims. It's just some of the little stuff like screens and all that. Those little things I do like with Yves. But if guys like Khalil, or if some of the bigs are gone, and Yves is there, I do believe Yves will be there at 24 and 25. I just think taking a non-shooting big, anything higher than 20 is crazy. He not a great free throw shooter. I think he only took one shot outside the restricted area. So there's the offense is not there, but he is a tremendous in open space, pick and roll monster. I mean, yeah, he's kind of like Mitchell Robinson, so if you lose Mitch, you get a younger version of Mitchell Robinson. So, and that's something that is still valuable. He's going to be able to block shots. And some of the issues that Mitch had early in his career with the fouls and, the foul trouble, and all that, that's something Yves is going to have to fix. But I think that can definitely he has things that are definitely fixable in the league, as far as the fouling and some of the defensive lapses he can even have. but the offense is not going to be there. So if you're expecting him to ever become even develop a little midi, it's probably not going to happen. But he is a rim running big, super athletic. Like I said, the wingspan's there. He's going to be able to block shots everywhere. He's a specimen. He is a specimen and all that. And pick and rolls with Brunson, you could definitely see him, do some good things. So we got a call. Was my guy? We got my guy Jay. We got Jay from East New York on the Discord. My guy always shows support to the.
Yo, you can hear me, bro?
I can hear you loud and clear. What's good, my guy?
Yo, first of all, I just want to say shout out to you, man, for hosting the live on KnicksFanTV. Shout out to CP, shout out to Alex. I'm loving this draft talk, man. A couple of guys you mentioned, I kind of have them on my radar, and one of the other callers, they mentioned the guy that I kind of want the Knicks to go after. If this is the first wing that I wanted to talk about, that was Jalan Tyson. But I feel like personally, I would like to see the Knicks go out and make a trade. This is the scenario I propose, that the Knicks re-sign Bogey and package the 24th to 25th pick and go out and get DeJounte Murray. You feel me? I feel like that's the move that the Knicks need to make. We need another premier guard next to Brunson. We need somebody that can, facilitate for him. And he's also interchangeable with other pieces that we already have. A guy like Deuce, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo. I feel like you bring in the DeJounte Murray because I'm looking at Atlanta and I feel like Atlanta is sellers. And I've been hearing rumors that they possibly may trade Trae Young and move down and all of these things. So if that could happen, that's what I would like the Knicks to do. And if we're going to we have to make a pick. So with the 38th pick, I'm going to bring up a sleeper. This is a guy, I did a lot of research on him. His name is Jalen Bridges. He was a red shirt. Then he played in West Virginia. And then he played his junior year in Baylor. I like the kid. He's a high volume shooter scorer. He shoots about 5.13 attempts. He's shooting 41% from three, shooting about 78-79% at the free throw line. The guy was he basically was just like a bucket getter. You feel me? Somebody that could come in and score. I like the way he gets to the rim. I wouldn't say he's a lockdown defender, but he averaged 1.1 steals for his junior year, and he played pretty well in my opinion, and he's 23 years old, so it's not like he's a baby, so I just wanted to pick your brain on that. And also a guy that I'm really interested in, one of these two, is either Deron Holmes or Tyler Smith, because I feel like the Knicks need a lot of floor spacing, and I feel like it has to come from like the power forward wing position 3. So those are really the guys I'm looking at: Deron Holmes, Tyler Smith, and my sleeper Jalen Bridges out of Baylor. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you for having me on.
Appreciate you for calling in. Jalen Bridges, and it seems like a lot of people in the chat do like Jalen Bridges. I like him too. He has the size. He can shoot. He's Yves Missy's teammate at Baylor. He's someone we can definitely. And I think at 38, I think he's there at 38. I wouldn't even be mad if they take him at 25, one of the first round picks. He has the size they need at a wing, 6'7", 6'8", around there, right? Can shoot. That's something we need. We need wing shooting. That's something that, and like I said, solid defender, can rebound. I wouldn't be mad if they take him at 25 with one of the first round picks if they keep him. Now, the trade scenario you had, that's where I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. DeJounte, so you said, right, trade the picks, the DeJounte. I don't know. I'm not crazy about DeJounte like that. So I'm not a big DeJounte guy, so I'm not crazy about that. But another big name and I see a lot of people in the chat, talking about is Deron Holmes. That's someone I like. A big that can shoot. He kind of reminds me of like, Nas Reed. That type of player, like 6'8". I think Deron's like 6'10" and all that, but he could shoot it. And he can. And I had a top 20 grade on 25 grade on Deron Holmes last year. I thought he should have came out last year. I thought he was gonna be a first round pick. This year I think he's solidified, but I think he's someone that's gonna maybe gone by the time we pick. That's the thing, and I think he could be gone by there. You mentioned Jalen Smith Smith out of the G League. I like him.
Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Indiana. Tyler Smith. Tibbs not gonna like him. Tibbs not gonna play him. He don't play defense. Not even a little bit. He don't play defense at all. I've seen people mention Julius Randle with him because if you watch his offensive game, there's a real resemblance, not just with the lefty, but to everything he does. But he don't play defense. We know Tibbs. That's not gonna rock with Tibbs. And I guess mentioned before, people may not like that I'm referring so much to Tibbs, but that's a real thing that we have to. When I'm doing this, I'm thinking like, hey, is Tibbs gonna play him? Are we gonna have another Obi Toppin situation? Tyler Smith, I think the offense is there. I think he could be one of the better offensive players in this draft. He could do everything. He's smooth, mid-range, can shoot it, off the dribble, athletic, all that. The defense is not even. And I know he's young, he can develop, but you know, I don't know. I don't know if it can develop the way on this team, on this Knicks team. I don't know if he'll get the opportunity, and if you don't play defense, especially where we're at with our roster with our foundation, maybe if this is a younger team, yeah, you can get away. But now with this team, I could see another Obi Toppin situation. But I do like him because the offense to me is he's one of the better offensive players in this draft. But I think Tyler, he struggles defense. Not even struggles, man. He just don't play. He don't play. And I know the G League, there was a lot of things going on, the roster construction, and now they're defunct now. It's kind of crazy, but there was a lot going on with him, Ron Holland, Buzelis. There was a lot of things, but I just worry that he's just not. The defense he ain't gonna get in the court, and it might just be Obi Toppin 2.0, with him. But I want to talk about, here's another prospect that's very polarizing, and someone who's rising up the draft boards. And at one point, maybe this time last year was maybe like, oh, he's a second round pick, and he's very polarizing, and that's Zach Edey. And I'm very curious to see your guys' thoughts on Zach Edey because he's very polarizing. Because there's people that are like, all right, yeah, especially in this draft, yeah, take him top 10, top 15. And then there's people like, nah, I'm not with it. Yeah, can you play? Is the endurance going to be there? Is he going to be, can you not be able to play him in the fourth quarter? But he's rising, guys. He's rising. He went from being back into the second round to just like, this year, I think each game and all that, he improved. His endurance improved great. Just his touch was improved. His shooting, everything. He's a great free throw shooter. And that's one thing with bigs, we kind of like see if they have that, if that's something that we can see down the line. I think he'd be able to expand his game to the 3-point line and be pretty good at it. He did some good stuff at the combine and all that. I know it's the combine, but he did some good stuff. I think I could buy the shot long term being good because I think for him to be effective, I think he's going to have to develop that outside shot. But Zach Edey is a very intriguing prospect because he's someone obviously 7'4", can protect the rim, can't misdirect everything. His presence alone, even in the NBA, I think his presence alone is going to give people just a headache. Not to the level, I'm not saying he's Victor Wembanyama, not at all. But we saw what Victor did from the jump, like just because him being 7'4", 7'5", him being there, even in the NBA, had guys like, all right, I'm not even going to try. And I know Zach is nowhere near the lateral quickness or any of that. But him just being there, his physical presence is going to alter. He's going to be able to just change the other team's offense, even if it's just for 15, 20 minutes, And I've seen some people in the chat, they're like, okay, they get it in. Zach is our guy. I take him at 24. That's the thing. And that's where I'm going to go. I'm hearing more by each day that he's rising up, and there's teams, if you think about Memphis, that could be a spot where he could. I think I definitely see Memphis in play for him, but that's someone like I mentioned before with Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson most likely one of them not going to be there, because I just find it hard for the Knicks to be paying a lot of money to two centers. And I think I believe Hartenstein's going to take the bag, and he deserves it because he played absolutely great basketball. And even, when he was in the Clippers, he was underrated and all that. So there's a big possibility that, Hartenstein's not there. So you take a chance on Zach Edey at 24, 25, if he's there. I want to get let me know your thoughts. Like I said, call in 657-383-1509 or hit up the Discord. I want to get your guys' thoughts on Zach Edey, whether if he's there, is that someone that the Knicks should consider? So we got someone on the phone, 757.
Hey, Chris, this is Sean from Virginia.
What's up, Sean?
Just calling. Yeah, what's up? Just calling. Wanted to see what your thoughts were on Terrence Shannon Jr. I feel like he is like the quintessential wing that we would need on this team going forward, from a scoring perspective and a two-way, defensive perspective too, because he was in like the 90-something percentile as a pick-and-roll ball handler and an isolation scorer this year, while also shooting 36% from three on, I think it was like 7 attempts per game, which is pretty high. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on him.
Terrence Shannon, he's just an absolute bucket scorer. Like he was able to this year really elevate his scoring even more than he did in previous years. He's someone that's been on my draft radar it feels like since the COVID year. Like he's been on my radar. He's someone that you always saw the potential with the scoring, but he could never figure it out. But this year, he had some monster games. I think he had a 40-point game. I forgot against who. He had a bunch of 30-point games, just explosive games and all that. He is a tremendous scorer. There are things to, and the whole court case and all that. I think that was the biggest thing that teams were worried about. The biggest thing that teams were really worried about with him was what's going on off the court. As we saw, everything was cleared, and he's, there's nothing on his record. He's good. So that's one thing we don't have to worry about, with him and all that. Because I know, I heard from people saying that teams had him off their boards, 100% off their boards until everything off the court got situated. He was untouchable. They were not going to draft him, but that's no longer the case. And he's cleared, and now we can kind of fairly evaluate him as a basketball player. And then as a basketball player, he's definitely, a special talent. But the thing is, he's not going to have the ball in his hand the way he did at Illinois. What is he as a off-ball player? That's the thing we have to see. I didn't see a lot of that. So if he's able to be a good off-ball player and be able to shoot, be in the corner and shoot a little bit, that's the thing. Can he be that type of player? Because he's not going to be able to have the ball in his hand a lot. And he is an older prospect. I think he's going to be 24 about before the. And like I said, at this point of draft, you're not really worried about age and all that. But that is something that teams kind of. But I think as a offensive scorer off in the second unit with this Knicks team, I think that he could definitely do some things. He is intelligent and all that, so he definitely would provide a definitely help the scoring with the second unit. But the off the court stuff is all that, and I think he's definitely going to be there at 24, 25. So he's someone that with all the stuff that's off the court stuff, he's good to go. So I know, don't get mad at me. I don't know if he's a Tibbs guy. That's the thing. I don't know if he's a Tibbs guy. I don't know if he fits the mold. The defense is inconsistent. Like I said, I'm thinking of guys who fit the Tibbs mold, who I know that he will play and who will be able to, and I don't know if he's that guy, but he's definitely a one of the better scorers in the class. Like I said, he's played a lot of high level in the Big Ten playing high level basketball for a lot and this year he took a leap, and you usually don't see guys this old take that leap as a scorer, especially guys 23, 20, but he took a massive leap as a scorer and all the distractions he had to deal with. I mean, I don't know if you guys, watched a lot of Big Ten or Illinois, but some of the crowds they were ruthless. They were ruthless. And college basketball crowds can be nasty. He had to deal with a lot of people saying some nasty stuff to him, and he handled like a pro. Even, just had the media. He handled everything like a pro. So he's someone that I don't know if the Knicks will think about taking him 24, 25, but he's he's a absolutely fabulous scorer, but I don't know if he fits in the mold with Tibbs guy. He's not Tibbs guy, so we gotta that's kind of my thought process. But he's a bucket. He's a bucket, and he's gonna make a team very happy in the second round or something like that. But I'm just glad everything with him is off the court is good, because that was something that really would affect his draft stuff. Because like I said, teams were like off the board completely with him.
I had another one if you had time too. If possible. Hello.
Oh, we'll hear you. You're still there.
Oh yeah. Also wanted to hear your thoughts on Filipkowski from Duke. I feel like he'll be there around that range too, 24, 25. Just thinking about him as a possible like big option if Hartenstein leaves for the money, OKC or whatever. Not saying that he would be like an immediate player, because I'm assuming that if Hartenstein did leave, Precious would probably be re-signed and he would be the backup. But I would say Filipkowski could be like a third big instead of Sims, because it seemed like Tibbs was not, I think, lost faith in Sims for real in the playoffs after he got in and didn't get across half court that one time. They didn't see the floor after that. So just a third big option that's different from what they already kind of had on the roster.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a Duke fan, so I watched a lot of Kyle Filipowski, and he's tough, man. He has a very good inside-out game. I know the numbers may not show that he's a good on the perimeter, but I think I buy it long term. I think he can definitely be a better, like I said, more spacing in the NBA. I think he can definitely be a better 3-point shooter, than the numbers show indicate. The inside, he's tough and all that. He could pass. I love his finishing. He's a really good player. I don't think he's gonna be there. That's why I didn't have him in my 5, because or else I would have. The other guys I had, I think they could be there. I think Filipowski's gone. I had him in a mock. I did a mock recently, and I had him going, I believe, to Oklahoma City, if I recall. I feel like he's the perfect Oklahoma City Thunder. Like he fits them perfect. Or Orlando, I forgot, but I think it was Oklahoma City. I had him going to, in the lottery. Yeah, I had him going to OKC. So I think he fits what they. If I'm OKC, I don't think he falls past you guys. I think he fits perfect what OKC does as a stretch big. That's exactly something they really need. Yeah, I think he's gone. Yeah, so Philip, I like him. Like I said, Duke fan. I watched him and all that. He's intriguing prospect. Shoot it. I think the shooting, he could definitely shoot it once he gets to the league. The numbers don't indicate that in college, but I think he could I buy the shooting long term. Tough and finish around the rim and all. So Filipowski, I just don't think he's gonna be there, man. I just don't think he's gonna be there. Thank you for the call. Make sure to call in 657-383-1509. Call the Discord. We will talk about one more prospect. Let's see. Let me see who I think can, a prospect that I think can possibly be there in the late rounds. Let me see. Let's talk about Bobby Clinton. He's another intriguing prospect. He's got the frame. I do feel like the Knicks need to take a chance on one of these upside wings. And he's someone that I think he's going to be there. I think he's going to be there late first round. So he's someone, played overseas, 6'10", 220. Actually, I think I gave him. I think he's actually smaller than that. I think he's around 200. But I think the Knicks need to really think about, whether it's with the 38th, in the second round, take a chance on an upside wing and try to develop him. Like he has. I think at one point he's another guy, top 10 buzz at one point coming into the season last year. So he has the frame. He can get strong. That's the thing. That's why I take an upside wing like that, because he can get stronger. I think he could get to 230 and still be effective. He could shoot a little bit. He has the defensive tools you want that Tibbs would like. Yeah. Clinton would be a good pickup, but that's the thing. And I don't know if you guys have seen me on previous Knick draft shows, or if you follow me on Twitter. I feel like the Knicks are too scared. They are, and BLDX blocks. Yeah, but we're too scared. We're too scared. It does feel like at times the Knicks, they get scared. And that's why I mentioned before, if their board goes a certain way and all their guys are gone, or they think they're going to be gone, will they be willing to trade up? They have multiple ammunition. They have multiple assets to move up, to make something happen. Now, do you want to do it with this draft? And I understand that aspect, but if there's a guy you really like, because I don't think that they're using both picks. I think I've seen it within the chat. I think we can agree at that. I don't think they're going to use both first round picks. So why not try to move up? If it is Jalen Tyson, for instance, if that's a guy, like I said, I don't think that fits what what Tibbs is, what that does as a coach. I don't know if they're gonna like him, but do they take a chance and try to move up to get someone like that? If someone's gonna drop too. Someone like I was mad they didn't go after Cam Whitmore last year. Like when he dropped, I'm like, why aren't we trying to move up? And then you didn't even hear about them trying to move up. I wonder if that happens. If there's a player, like Jacoby Walter, for instance, he's someone I've heard that can possibly be falling in this class, or Isaiah Collier. But Jacoby Walter would fit us way better than Collier. So if a Jacoby Walter is dropping to, let's say he's dropping past the teens, do you think about, because he can shoot it. He does things that we need. Defense it is not great, but it's solid enough. It's not like some of the other prospects where I'm like, nah, I don't buy it. So would they do that? Would they try to trade up? But they haven't shown that. So that's why I don't know if trading up is an option. So I don't want them to be scared. Like take the guy you want. It feels like every time the prospect not there, they get scared. Don't be scared, New York. Let's try to get a guy that can help us. Like I said, I don't expect them to use both first round picks, but try to target your guy and see if you can get him. If they got to use both first round picks to get him, that's what you got to do. But I hope they're not scared. I hope they do their thing and target the guys well. Like upside wings, man. That's my big thing. Upside wings is big on that. But I appreciate everybody who tuned into the show. I know you haven't seen my face a lot. I know some of y'all probably like, who's this guy and all that. But I appreciate y'all, chopping up with me with the draft and everything. Appreciate it. We're gonna be back Tuesday for another draft recap show. We're gonna be talking about a bunch of more prospects on the slate. I got a lot more guys lined up. We'll be talking about, like I said, make sure to hit me up on Twitter if you want to talk about prospects. But like I said, appreciate you guys. You guys were nice in the chat. And to those, I'll get you guys on my side eventually. But appreciate everyone tuning into the show. Like I said, make sure to thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And like I said, Tuesday we're gonna talk about more prospects as we get close to the NBA draft. It is here. Appreciate everybody. Take care. Peace out.